Welcome to my channel Cine Chills. Let's enjoy the explanation of the movie. The old subway station is inhabited by a terrifying ogre. If she catches him, he will die. The woman sees the ogre picking up the small bone knife for surgery. She is filled with despair. The ogre walks slowly to the woman's corner and raises his hand to insert the sharp knife. The woman can no longer make any sound. After eating the snail noodles, the ogre enters the subway station through a secret passage to look for new prey. This moment, the heroine who caught the train is still unaware that death is coming. The hunting car has only been driving for a few minutes, but it suddenly stopped strangely. Confused woman was a little confused. She had to walk to the front of the car to ask the driver about the situation, but she knocked for a long time and there was no response. She wanted to see the driver's room through the smoke, but she didn't know that the hunting car driver had already hidden hatred in the northwest. Suddenly, an old man came over and took out a water gun without saying a word. The woman was scared and her diaper was wet. She just wanted to leave but was caught by the man. The woman was helpless. The woman screamed loudly, but the next second the man was dragged out of the lane. Then there were several screams. Kind woman was still a little worried, but when she wanted to go over to check, the man suddenly stretched out his arm. The woman ran to the back of the car in fear and opened the door. When she hid in, she found that someone had won the prize under the door. The woman looked at the rails behind her and jumped out without hesitation. This time, the door behind her was also opened. How was not too far from the platform? The huge subway station was like a maze. She had no choice but to find a corner to hide. Suddenly, she heard a noise behind her. She carefully poked her head out. She didn't expect there would be a dog in the subway station. But before she could say anything, the dog turned around and ran away. She realized that there might be an exit ahead. She hurriedly chased after it. Sure enough, she found a small door not far away. Thinking that this might be the exit, the woman went in without thinking. When they went in, they didn't expect that there was actually a couple of homeless people living there. After the woman kept explaining, the man decided to accompany her to find security, but the girlfriend was unwilling to go with him. When the two of them walked to the platform, they saw the man who had been there before crawling out with deep wounds on his back. When the two of them lifted her up, the woman pointed to the dog covered in blood behind her in horror. The man realized that his girlfriend was in danger and hurried back. There was a streak on the ground. There was a long trail of blood and the girlfriend was no longer there. The man followed the trail but did not expect that the blood trail would extend to the subway, and the man on the other side also fainted due to seeing too much blood. The woman found the emergency call button, but the security guard thought she was also a vagrant and would not believe her no matter what she said. In order to prove that what she said was true, the woman had to take off the man's clothes. The security guard realized the seriousness of the problem. But when she was about to call the police, she saw a large number of rats in the room. The confused security guard was a little confused. She stepped back in panic, but the next second she was hugged by a big hand. With the sound from the intercom, the woman also realized that the situation was not good. The woman who realized the danger fled in fear, but when she ran back to the residence of the Wandering Sweat, she also saw the ground was covered with blood and the man had not yet recovered from the grief of losing his wife. In order to avenge her girlfriend, she decided to go to the tunnel to find the murderer. The two walked deeper along the railway track. Suddenly, they heard a sound and then a train came over. The two hurriedly ran forward and saw the train when they were about to be hit by a huge enemy. They luckily hid in a corner and escaped by chance, but the train stopped. The man thought that the driver saw them and stopped the train temporarily, but the woman thought that the driver might be the murderer. The man asked her to hide first and decided to go out to see for herself. She walked onto the train with an iron rod, but she saw the dead driver at first sight. But the next second, she was grabbed by the neck and died in less than 2 seconds. This scene happened to be driven away. The woman who came saw her and ran down the carriage without hesitation. In panic, the woman fell into the tunnel filled with a foul smell. She could only wade through the sewage and continue to move forward. Suddenly, a corpse floated up. The woman was so scared that she urinated and wet her urine. She quickly climbed up the ladder beside her. Unexpectedly, there was a warehouse here. The woman did not dare to stay for a moment and ran forward madly. Suddenly, all the lights were turned off and it was pitch black inside. She continued to move forward with the weak light, but she heard strange noises from deep inside. She could only find a corner and turn off the lights so that no one would find her. When the woman woke up again, she found herself locked in an iron gate, her body soaked in foul-smelling sewage. The man opposite was also locked up. But at this moment, Xiao He felt something in the water. In his horror, he found it was just a bag of garbage. The woman looked at the iron gate next to her and she recognized it. There should be a gap below, so as long as he can pass through, he can escape. But at this moment, Sang Biao walked in. Xiao He hurriedly chose to play dead, but still could not escape. She took out her long hair and stimulated Xiao He's shoulder. This time, the woman swam out from underwater. She picked up the high heels on the ground and smashed them into the pervert's eyes. Seeing Sang Biao on the ground, she was so angry that she rescued Xiao He and they escaped successfully. But this place was like a maze and they couldn't find the exit. They rushed into an operating room. They didn't expect that their girlfriend, who was lying on the bed and sweating, had been tortured to the point of being covered in blood and had already lost her life. The woman couldn't control herself anymore because if she hadn't appeared, they might not have been killed. Xiao He was so angry that he comforted the woman for fear of giving her a funeral sign. After calming down, the two could only continue. They continued to look for an exit, but the safety doors here were all blocked. Just when she was in despair, the woman found a hole in the wall. There seemed to be a tunnel behind the stream. Xiao He went up and found a corner. He kicked off the square bricks at the hole. Just when they were about to get in, they heard a perverted laugh. Sang Biao had climbed over their heads at some point. Two of them ran forward in a hurry. Xiao He and his friends ran to an abandoned station and found a house with lights on in front of them. They finally saw hope of being saved. They walked in without hesitation. Unexpectedly, they still did not escape the clutches of the devil. The dog was also caught here. The woman found a photo on the table. But at this moment, a sound came from outside. Xiao He was nervous. She smashed the glass of the room like crazy. After she didn't see the morning sign again, she gradually calmed down. The two were just about to leave, but at this moment Sang Biao appeared behind Xiao He and bit him. The woman ran out of the house in fear. She ran all the way for an unknown period of time before she saw a moving subway. She couldn't believe it and rushed to the exit. Suddenly, she was knocked down by Sang Biao. The woman's hair pinned her to the ground. The woman, in fear, picked up the iron hook on the ground and stabbed the body of the morning sign. The woman finally escaped from the clutches of the devil. She slowly walked to the platform and sat on the ground. The number of people in the subway station gradually increased. The woman in fear. Our video today ends here. If you like it, please subscribe, follow, and support me. See you in the next movie.